Hey guys, we're at Books and Books in Coral Gables, and we just had a two-part interview with author Lisa McMahon, and we're going to show you the first part of that today and the second part next week.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
This week we're talking about the book that changed everything, and for me it's Follow My Leader by James B. Garfield, because I remember reading it when I was little and it being about a little boy who was blinded and just overcame everything and befriended the kid that blinded him, and when I was a kid I was not that big and it taught me to be a bigger person. So I read it a long time ago, but I read it over and over and over and over again when I was younger.
Mine is kind of weird, the reason why it's the book that changed everything, and the book is Heartlight by T.A. Barron. And it's not a really popular book, and it's not even being printed anymore. So I read this book when I was a little girl, and all I really remembered about it was that this girl flew on the back of a giant butterfly across the universe. And when I grew up, one of my friends in college, I asked him if he knew about this book, and obviously didn't, because it's like the most random detail. And then Christmas came around and he gave it to me as a present. So he had done his research, I guess, and found it. But the reason why this is the book that changed everything for me, it was the first time that I'd really read a fantasy book, and it was the first time I realized an author could kind of make their own rules and they didn't have to follow the rules of our world. And that just completely blew my mind, because I'd read the entire Hardy Boys series, but I'd never read a book where the laws of physics were different, and there's magic and these creatures that didn't actually exist in the real world. So that's my book. Wendy, tell us what your book is. Come over behind us.
Yeah. This is our friend Wendy, who is also a local writer.
We found her through the power of Twitter.
Twitter is awesome.
Yeah.
Twitter for president.
Yes.
That could totally be a campaign. And I mean, you could
Hashtag Twitter for president. You heard it here first.
all your campaigning on Twitter too. I mean, it would take off. Okay.
So, Wendy, what's your book?
I think it'd probably have to be Don't Die My Love by Lorraine McDaniel. I remember I read that when I think I was in high school. My friend Melissa introduced me to it, and it made me cry so much. And you know, who doesn't love a good cry book? But it made me deal with the fact that, you know, there's sadness in life, and there are times that it's okay to cry, and there are times that it's okay to deal with it, and even in the really hard stuff in life, there's still hope. And I think I really liked that about that book, and wow, made a big difference.
So as you guys know, we interviewed Lisa McMahon at Books and Books in Coral Gables, which we're actually still here right now. And so now we're going to show you what her book that changed everything is.
The book that changed everything for me was probably A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. And it's not because I loved the book the first time I read it, but really it was because of the author. And I think when I was 19 or 20, I met Madeleine L'Engle and had dinner with her. She came to the bookstore where I worked, and she actually, normally I would be the person who would close up the store and close down the registers and stuff, and then the manager and the other higher up bookstore people would go out for dinner with the author. And this time, Madeleine came up and actually introduced herself to me, and I was like, I know who you are. And then she said, so are you coming to dinner with us? And I kind of looked at my manager, and Madeleine kind of looked at my manager, and my manager couldn't say no to that, so I got to go to that dinner, and it just made this huge difference. She sat by me, and we talked about writing, and that was something I always wanted to do, and she just made this huge impact on my life. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's a great story.
thank you.
We know nothing could be more exciting than meeting Lisa McMahon for our blog.
But it's a tradition, so here's a moment from our daily lives.